when I was in 7th grade, I had something that could kind of be considered a life-changing moment at my best friend's house. She had popped out her Phil Collins tape, and I had this tape that this boy I was going with had given me. It was Black Flag's My War. And I put that in, and the sound that came from the speakers was truly the most intense voice we had ever heard. I'm sure our jaws dropped open. And at the end of one song, Steph looked at me and was like, I think my radio is now possessed. And I have to say, for me, I felt like this sort of nudged me into the person I was going to become in like high school and college. And that person was on the outside who had like the best hair and like really awesome clothing. That's relative. And a great music library. And then by outward appearances, kind of looked like a punk rock kid. But the truth is, I was definitely never punk rock in my attitude. I was so not cool. But I wanted people to think I was. But I knew that at some point somebody was going to look at me and call me out for the poser I was. And even when I tried to do something really cool, like F Society, I'm going to get tattoos, I got Kermit the Frog and my favorite picture book character, Little Critter, which totally is not punk rock, and missed the mark. And that's sort of the theme. I kind of kept missing the mark. So as I was building that punk rock persona, I was also building this almost teeny bopperish fascination with the man behind that first punk rock voice I heard, Henry Rollins. And so it was the 80s, so I had to actually seek out information. You couldn't Google anything. And I would find magazine articles, and I'd rip out pictures and put them on my wall. And just try to find out stuff about him. And I knew I was better, though, than those like New Kids on the Block fans, those swoony, like squealy fangirls, because I was punk rock. And so the way I felt about Henry Rollins was different than how they felt. And in some ways it was true. I didn't kind of swoon. I mean, I thought he was good looking, but I didn't swoon. I just knew from his like spoken word performances and the music and these magazines that I knew who he was. And he was a cool guy, and I really wanted to hang out with him. So I had this idea that if I ever met him, I'd get my punk rock street cred. Like, I would prove how cool I was. And that was by being the opposite of those teeny bopper girls. Like, if I met him, I would be so cool to be almost rude. Like, yeah, you're Henry Rollins, like, impress me. So the fantasy was I'd be like at the 930 Club or at this coffee shop we would sometimes go to in Georgetown. And he would see us, and he would come over, of course, and want to hang out with us. Be like, hi, my name is Henry. I'd be like, hi, my name's Parr. No big deal, no squealing, whatever. And I thought it would be really punk rock to have a mundane conversation with him. Like, he'd talk about projects he's working on and life on the road as a musician. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm from this lame place, York. I'm going to graduate from college, move away, and I guess do punk rock things. I don't know what I thought I was going to do. And 17-year-old me would be very disappointed to discover that I did nothing punk rock. I graduated, I got jobs that expected me to look normal, so I started to look normal. And there was this idea that I thought I'd be happy moving away from New York, but I missed it. I appreciated it so much when I moved away that I came back. And not only did I come back, but I got a job where I actually talk about York all the time and its history. And I love it, and I'm excited about it. 17-year-old me would be very impressed to learn that through this job, that's how I got to meet Henry Rollins. One day, we find out that he's working on this H2, History Channel 2 program, and he's going to come to the Colonial Complex and film. Now, I was 41 at the time, but I'm like, I am finally going to get my punk rock street cred. This is awesome. And so the day arrives, and I'm inside the Golden Plow Tavern with my colleagues, and he walks in. Henry Rollins walks in. And he goes down the line, he introduces himself to everyone. He's like, hi, my name's Henry. I'm like, hi, my name's Parr. I am so proud of myself the rest of the day that I didn't screw up saying my name to him. And like, I'm riding on that high, like I didn't squeal, I didn't do anything stupid, I didn't say, oh, I'm your biggest fan. I just shook his hand. And it gets better because we're all milling about behind gates and plow. And he comes over, and as things are winding down, and says, tell me a little bit about these buildings. And I tell him the history of the buildings, and he asks about the history of York and what it's like now. And he tells me about what they're working on for this History Channel show and the projects they're working on. I'm like, I am having the mundane conversation with Henry freaking Rollins. This is awesome. And I'm totally nailing it. I am nailing it. Like, he doesn't even know that I know who he is. So there's a suggestion that before they leave, we go out and get our pictures taken with the Lafayette statue, which shows up on my Facebook regularly, I have to say. I'd like to show that off. And just as he's getting ready to leave, something clicks, and I'm like, you think of his voice as being pivotal in who you became. Can you really let him leave and not say something? So I look at Henry Rollins, and I'm like, I don't squeal. Let me make that clear. There was no squealing involved. But I said, I've been listening to your music for like 28 years, and I was so excited I would get this chance to meet you. It's been such an honor. And I know he said something nice, but all I was doing was like inwardly cringing and thinking, I was this close. I was this close, and once again, I managed to miss the mark. Thank you very much.